All right, y'all. Wild report from CNN. Satanic child fill in the blank abuse ring busted, police say. Now, this took place November 27 in Sydney, Australia.
Eastern Australia on an early morning raid, breaking down a door in a Sydney suburb and arresting the alleged 26-year-old ringleader of a group accused of being engaged in some of the most depraved criminal activity imaginable.
Police will allege in court that this international group were engaging in conversations and the sharing of material which depicted child abuse and the torture of children, involving symbols and rituals linked to Satanism and the occult.
A crackdown on an alleged international satanic child sex abuse material ring. In all, police arrested 4 men in and around Sydney, seizing multiple devices.
Police will allege in court that the initial examination of those devices has discovered thousands of videos depicting the abuse of live children aged between babies and 12 years of age. Amongst these deplorable images were also a number of videos depicting the sexual abuse of animals.
The suspects have all been charged with multiple counts of accessing or possessing child abuse content. They've been denied bail and are expected to next appear in court in late January. Australian authorities call the distribution of child abuse content a borderless crime that's growing thanks to the internet. They're working with other international law enforcement to help identify and rescue children shown in the seized content.
So this was a statement that was made. This was a statement that was made by the police. It says the abuse was particularly devastating in that they used symbols and rituals around it in the discussions that they were having about abusing children, she said. It had a very ritualistic overview. Now, I want to play this separate report from 10 News in Australia.
Possessing and distributing what police are calling satanic child abuse material. Now, it's alleged they are connected to an international paedophile ring, using encrypted chat sites to exchange videos and discuss their sick fantasies. And a warning, this story does contain some distressing details.
They are nightmares brought into reality, realised as criminal acts and carried out to share with depraved like minds.
Thousands of videos depicting the abuse of live children aged between babies and 12 years of age.
From computers and drives belonging to 4 Sydney men after police kicked in their doors. Detectives say they'd been tracking their activity on encrypted websites and chat rooms where they accessed and discussed the abuse of children.
Symbols and rituals around it in the discussions that they were having about abusing children.
Cybercrime investigators worldwide flagged a rise in the discussion and depiction of satanic-themed acts. Here, Strikeforce Constantine was established to track links to a global network using encrypted pages to share fantasies and recorded abuse. The reason police are so concerned by these groups and are sounding the alarm isn't just an increase in offences involving satanic symbolism, it's the threat of the observational becoming physical. These dark pursuits, like any serious drug, drive a need for a stronger fix or a bigger high, and that increases the threat of these abhorrent acts being carried out on Australian victims.
We were concerned about any children that these people may come in contact with.
So they moved on 26-year-old Landon Germanotta Mills, taking the accused ringleader off the streets. His charges include making both child abuse and bestiality material available. 3 men he's alleged to have shared it with were arrested at one apartment block in Malabar. Now detectives are racing to find the victims of what was allegedly found in their possession.
Where they are and who they are so that they can be rescued from this.
Chris Campy, 10 News.
So he said that these types of activities drive a need for a stronger high. This is what we talk about pretty consistently here. The fact that sin always wants more of you. It's never done. It always wants more of you. It promises satisfaction, but once you get to that point, you realize that you're even less satisfied than before. In fact, you have a bigger appetite for the dark and demonic and wicked activities that your flesh is leading you in the direction of. Isn't that so interesting? So now we have a group of, and this is international. This is not just in Sydney, Australia. Who knows where this expands? This is international. So now we have potentially thousands, tens of thousands, I don't know the number, of adults who are actively engaged in seeking this type of material involving children on the internet. And even further, because of what the detective was saying, is that from my understanding, it sounds like there's some sort of live stream component baked into this. That's how I took it, which would indicate that there are actively children enslaved for the sole purpose of producing this content and being abused. And as crazy, as wicked, as dark as that sounds, this stuff actually happens far too often. But now the fact that we actually see, and that law enforcement in Sydney is recognizing, and CNN is recognizing as well, that it's connected to a spiritual darkness, satanic darkness, rituals and symbols and the occult and all this type of stuff, like, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. I wasn't expecting to see that headline today, but that definitely does not surprise me. I wonder exactly what they mean, because they referenced, and maybe if I go back to the article, maybe they might give me some more information, but they referenced the fact that there were symbols and things of that nature. This is from CNN. So it says four arrests over alleged international satanic child fill in the blank abuse material ring. It says 4 men have been arrested and their alleged involvement, according to Australian police. They're still working to identify the victims. Deputy Jane Doherty said that the international network depicted children from infants to 12 years old, as well as animals. Police will allege in court that this international group were engaging in conversations and sharing the material which depicted child abuse and other activities involving children, involving symbols and rituals linked to Satanism and the occult. Thousands of videos were found on electronic devices seized during several simultaneous raids on properties in Sydney last week. Amongst these deplorable images were also a number of videos depicting the abuse of animals, she added. Video released by NSW police showed the arrest of a 26-year-old man in the inner city of Waterloo, whom police alleged to have played a leading role in the group. The investigation was carried out by, it says the online distribution of child abuse involving ritualistic or satanic themes. In November, police were made aware of a group of men in Sydney who were allegedly part of a larger international pedophile syndicate. They were communicating with each other, also sharing explicit child abuse material across that international group. Wow. Wow. I just keep going back to the fact that, and people don't like when I mention this. And let me be clear. I think there are positive use cases for AI. I think there are positive use cases for AI. I also think that there are very dark use cases for AI. One of the extremely dark use cases that I am seeing, that I'm predicting, it relates to a story that we just talked about pretty recently, where we talked about how ChatGPT was opening up the door for erotica and things of that nature to be used by adults. They specify for adults, but we know how these things work. You know, these things, these activities, these substances that are specialized for adults or marketed towards adults, some way, somehow, they always make their way into the hands of children. We know how this stuff works. But, you know, I hear stuff like this and I hear the need for a stronger high, like the detective said. When you're involved in stuff like this, you always are looking for the next fix. You're looking for a stronger high. And I think AI, and specifically the way that certain individuals use AI to generate certain content, I think that's going to play a huge role in the next wave of abuse material that we see involving children. Especially when you, not even like the photo generation of AI is absolutely insane. But in comparison to the video generation and how fast that technology has progressed, there's no comparison. Like, did you ever see that video of Will Smith eating spaghetti? The AI Will Smith eating spaghetti? And did you notice how people were freaking out when that video first came out? Let me show it to you. AI Will Smith. Did you guys ever see this video of AI Will Smith eating spaghetti? Look, this is 2003. Just to give y'all some perspective on how fast this is moving. This is 2003. 2003. Looks ridiculous, right? 2004. Just 1 year. This is 2004. Just 1 year. Now that still looks ridiculous, but leaps and bounds more realistic. And that was 2004. Look up the videos now. It's very hard to tell the difference unless you have a very keen eye to noticing AI. And I could definitely see use cases for certain individuals to produce that type of content in order to get their next high. That's what I think. It's unfortunate, it's crazy, it's wicked, but that's what I think. I wish I had something more positive to say. Let me know what you think. Get on my comments, like this video. I'm out, y'all.